So, when we think of ancient architecture, we usually picture massive foundations being laid first, right? Base to the top. Well, for today's explainer, we're looking at something truly mind-bending that completely flips that script. We're heading to Tamil Nadu, India, to a place famously known as the Ellora of the South. Let's dive right into the jaw-dropping Vetuvan Kovil in Kalugumalai. Because, guys, this isn't just another temple. It's an absolute masterclass in ancient engineering that literally defies gravity. I mean, how do you even build a temple from the roof down? Like, really think about that for a second. Imagine standing at the flat peak of a solid rock mountain. You've got no bricks, no mortar, and obviously no massive cranes. Instead of building up, these ancient artisans just chipped away straight down into the earth. They carved the intricate temple towers first and then slowly revealed the structure underneath, working their way down to the base. And here's the craziest part. If they made even a single mistake, they couldn't just swap out a bad stone. One wrong strike and the entire project would be ruined. And what makes this even more staggering is the timeline. We are talking roughly 1200 to 1300 years ago, long before anyone had modern machinery or laser levels or power drills. Human beings used basic chisels, hammers, and just an unfathomable amount of patience to slice a magnificent, perfectly proportioned temple right out of a mountain. So let's look at the timeline here. Vetuvan Kovil was actually commissioned way back in the 8th century by the kings of the Pandya dynasty, specifically King Maranjatadayan. Now, a lot of people know the famous Tanjore Big Temple, which was built in the 11th century. But this rock-cut wonder actually predates Tanjore by hundreds of years. Today, it sits there as this quietly rediscovered marvel, protected and managed by archaeological authorities. Now, to really grasp why this is so special, we have to look at the massive distinction between ancient building techniques. Structural temples, known as Khatrali, are exactly what we're used to seeing, building from the base up, stacking individual stone blocks on top of each other. But Vetuvan Kovil, it's a rock-cut temple, or Kudavarai, meaning the temple wasn't actually built at all. It was excavated. It was carved out of one single, continuous, solid piece of rock. And just to put the scale of this Kudavarai masterpiece into perspective, consider the depth, 40 feet. The artisans carved vertically down into the rock face to a staggering depth of 35 to 40 feet. Imagine standing at the top lip of the mountain and looking down a sheer, 4-story drop. Now realize that every single inch of that empty space was meticulously hollowed out by hand just to free the temple trapped inside the stone. Absolutely wild. Moving into Section 1, Gods in the Rock. The intricate carvings. So as you explore the upper levels and the four corners of the temple, you are surrounded by these exquisite carvings. We're talking Lord Shiva, Perumal, who you might know as Vishnu, and a really fascinating three-headed depiction of Brahma. There's Dakshinamurti, the fierce Narasimha, and right inside the main sanctum sits Vinayagar or Ganesha. Oh, and you absolutely can't miss the 4 beautifully detailed Nandi bowls facing out toward the cardinal directions. But it's not just gods up there. The temple also features these incredibly elegant female sculptures carved right into the rock face. And historians actually believe these figures represent real princesses and noble women from the ancient Pandya era. So it's basically giving us this rare, frozen-in-time glimpse into the fashion, the posture, and the actual appearance of Pandya royalty from over a millennium ago. Okay, and I absolutely love this next detail. Tucked away among all these grand deities and royals are the Bhutaganas, these lively, animated little goblin spirits. And instead of just standing there stiffly, they're full of action. They're depicted playing ancient musical instruments, beating loudly on drums, and, my personal favorite, literally catching and playfully wrestling with snakes. It just injects such a vibrant, dynamic energy into all that heavy stone. Which brings us to Section 2, the unfinished mystery. And the scars of the past. Well, here's where things take a bit of a mysterious turn. Work on the temple abruptly stopped. It was just left incomplete. And it gets a little darker too. If you look closely at the sculptures today, you'll notice physical scars. A lot of the statues have smashed faces and broken noses. According to the historical context we have, this wasn't just natural erosion over time. This was intentional damage. It's the violent result of historical conflicts, ancient wars, or even the wrath of conquering rival kings who deliberately wanted to desecrate the Pandya dynasty's grand project. All right, shifting gears slightly to Section 3, the Jain connection, Samanarpali. Because Kalugumalai isn't just a Hindu site, it is actually one of the most significant Jain heritage sites in all of Tamil Nadu. Right there on the adjacent rock face, you'll find over 150 Jain bas-relief sculptures carved directly into the stone. It's an absolute treasure trove of religious art, all existing in this peaceful, side-by-side proximity to the Hindu structures. And the detail on these carvings is just breathtaking. They prominently feature the 24 main Tirthankaras, the supreme spiritual teachers of Jainism, often depicted sitting there perfectly serene, deep in meditation. But it's not just the high spiritual figures either. The rock is adorned with carvings of respected local gurus, family members like mothers, fathers, and children, and of course the royal patrons who funded the works. It's an entire ancient community, literally immortalized in the hillside.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, a hidden historical gem, exploring Kalugumalai.
Seriously, this single mountain is an explorer's absolute dream. In one trip, you get the gravity-defying Vaduvan Kovil Shiva Temple, the serene Jain reliefs of Samanarpali, a massive Ayanar statue down below, the Kalugumalai Murugan Temple, and, if you actually have the stamina to climb all the way to the top, right at the very peak sits the Uchi Pilayar Temple. It's all packed into this one extraordinary place. So, I want to leave you all with this final thought. A masterpiece frozen in time where the silence of unfinished rock speaks louder than completed walls. Vetsuvan Kovil was never finished. Its statues were scarred by war, and its brilliant creators are totally lost to time. Yet, looking at that mountain, chiseled from the sky downwards, it leaves us with such a profound sense of awe for human resilience and creativity. What do you think those artisans felt the exact day they had to drop their chisels and walk away from it forever? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep staying curious.